Maruti Suzuki's WagonR has been around a long time, in which it's built a formidable reputation for itself as a spacious, sensible hatchback that's available at a reasonable price tag. But this tall boy now has a new competitor that's stretching the space formula in a different direction. Datsun Go Plus. It offers 3 rows of seats in a sub 4 meter package, that too at an attractive price point. So, which one of these should you put your money on?
Well, if you were looking for something striking, neither of these two is going to cut it. The WagonR, less so. It is a familiar face that we have learned to like despite its tall and boxy stance. The Datsun sits lower and as such feels more normal. More importantly, this compact MPV doesn't look or feel too big for the city. After all, it is under 4 meters long. It has a handsome face, but as your gaze stretches further back, it looks less impressive. Just like on the Go hatchback, the weedy tires don't help its cause.
So the cabin of the Go Plus has been carried over pretty much unchanged from the Go hatch, which means you have lots of storage spaces around the cabin, but you can't escape the fact that it is very basic and low rent. You really don't have much by way of equipment, and it just doesn't feel premium.
There's no steering adjustment or seat height adjustment for the driver's seat. There are a few nifty details, like the trip computer and the digital rev counter. The continuous front bench is a neat touch, but sitting 3 abreast is for the middle row, where you can really use the width of the Go Plus. However, the legroom and under-thigh support isn't the best here. And the 3rd row of seats is best for children. Well, small children. However, if you are planning on using the extra length of the Go Plus to carry luggage, you will get an impressive 350 liters of storage. But keep in mind that the 3rd row of seats intrude into the boot floor, which makes storing luggage a bit awkward. And when you have the 3rd row up, there's only enough space for a couple of soft bags. The WagonR in comparison has a paltry 180 liters, which is basically good for one large suitcase. But when it comes to passenger space, the WagonR is a lot nicer. Stepping in is a breeze, and there's plenty of knee room and headroom in the middle row. The cabin feels airier, the seats are more supportive and comfier too, but it is narrower, and 3 abreast will be a bit of a squeeze. Step into the front and the seats feel a bit flat, but you don't feel shortchanged. The dash looks smarter, and there are plenty of neat storage spaces, like the cup holders and this under-seat storage. On top of that, this top-of-the-line VXI variant is cheaper than the Datsun T variant. And that's despite it being better equipped. You get all 4 power windows, an integrated music system, a driver airbag, and most importantly, ABS. So unless you have a big family and small kids, it's the WagonR with its 2 rows of seats that will offer the more appealing and practical cabin. But what are these cars like when you get behind the wheel? Both cars here have 3-cylinder engines and near about the same horsepower, 67 bhp. But the Datsun's 1.2 liters of displacement give it an advantage over the Maruti's 1-liter engine.
The high point of this Datsun has got to be its engine. It's just so brisk and willing in the way it responds to throttle inputs. There's lots of torque at low RPMs, so you can leave it between 1000 and 2000 RPM in 3rd gear. It'll amble along 20-30 kilometers an hour. Put your foot down and it'll march forward smartly.
From 40 to 100 kph in 4th gear, the Datsun is over 2 seconds faster than the WagonR. And in the run from 0 to 100, the Datsun is nearly 4 seconds faster. Despite the performance advantage, the Datsun is very fuel efficient as well and runs neck and neck with the WagonR. The Datsun's performance, no doubt, is impressive. But the WagonR is still pretty easy to use in every condition.
Now the WagonR's engine is also good for ambling around and for doing daily duties, but it doesn't have the spring in its step like the Go Plus or the same amount of punch either.
What does help its cause though is its willingness to rev, which really does help when you want to get going. When it comes to the suspension, both cars use McPherson struts at the front and a twist beam at the rear. And both cars are quite comfortable to be in.
The suspension on this Maruti has been tuned well enough to cope just about everything our roads can throw at it. Bumps, potholes, broken sections. The only thing is that this tall boy does end up bobbing around a bit. Go Plus feels really quite at home on bumpy rough surfaces like this, but the thing is that the road noise and all those pebbles hitting the underbody just aren't insulated from the cabin, so it does get a bit tiresome because of that.
So the Maruti feels a bit more mature to ride around in. But the real problem for the Datsun is that it has no anti-roll bar. Secondly, the Datsun, even in the top-end variant, uses 13-inch tires, which are very basic. And as the speeds increase and the surface gets worse, these factors become more important.
The steering on the Go Plus, it is nice and you can hustle this car fast, but the thing is that the tires do feel like the weak point and there is a fair amount of body roll, so it's easy to get the car unsettled if you have to brake hard.
And this tilts things in the favor of the more predictable WagonR.
Around bends, it's the WagonR that feels more confidence-inspiring. It also has body roll, but it's far more controlled than in the Go Plus. And the other thing is that in a sticky situation, you'll find that this doesn't get unsettled as easily as the Go Plus.
And let's not forget, you also have the benefit of ABS to fall back upon when things get out of hand. So which one of these has the overall advantage?
So in this contest, the Datsun Go Plus's extra length does give it an advantage, but it doesn't tilt the scales in its favor decisively. Because you see, the third row of seats will be useful only if you have young kids at home. When you get into the middle row, the space isn't as abundant as you'd expect. The WagonR has more. And then when you get into the front seat, you'll find that it does feel a bit budget and low rent. Sure, the mechanicals are great, but is that enough to win this contest? Not quite. Because the WagonR might not be as peppy to drive, but this is a robust package and can deal with just about any condition that you throw at it. And on the inside, you'll find that it offers more space, more features, that too at a lower price point. So, if you had to pick between one of these two, this is the one that we'd recommend.